Hello, welcome to Kubernetes Deployment Series 17. In this series, we are going to learn how to deploy microservices into cluster by using Argo CD. In our previous two lessons, lesson number 15 and 16, we have already discussed how we can deploy microservices into cluster by creating the Argo CD applications in the using the Argo CD interface or the dashboard. I can show you here. If you go to the Argo CD, and in this Argo CD we can set up a repository here, and then we can create our application by through the interface. Here we have to mention the name, the repository, the path of the manifest that this application is going to use, and the specific cluster and the namespace where it is going to deploy the applications. So that we have already discussed, and in our previous two labs. So the main disadvantage of using this interface is because if we are going to deploy many applications or the microservices, for example, we are going to use 50, 60 microservices or 100 of microservices. So in that scenario, it is very difficult to create those applications in the Argo CD interface. For example, if you are using in our multi manifest, suppose we'll go to the multi manifest, right? Here it contains 5 different services or manifests. Okay, so in order to deploy this, we need to create 5 different applications in the um, Argo CD interface. Similarly, if we are going to use customize manifest, and if we are deploying into multiple environments, for example, we have uh, for example, order and overlays. If you see, we have 3 different environments. So using this, for each environment we have to create a separate application, I mean CD, Argo CD application. And if we are using, for example, here we have 4 microservices, and each need to be deployed into 3 different um, environment. So in that scenario, there will be 4 into 3, 12 separate Microsoft application, Argo CD applications we need to create in our Argo CD interface. So that is a bit difficult to manage while when we have many applications or many microservices that we are going to deploy into the cluster. So there is another way. Instead of creating the application in the UI itself, we can also do that by using manifest file. So the manifest file that will help us to create the Argo CD applications. So for example, if we go to this Visual Studio, we can see here under Argo CD, I have created a couple of applications. Here you can see, for example, the single manifest, right? So this single manifest application here, we can define. So we can define one manifest file that for the Argo CD. So the kind is application, and you can give a name, any name you can provide, and the namespace is Argo CD, because our Argo CD is deployed in the Argo CD namespace as a pod. So that we need to mention here Argo CD, and we can give some name here, project name. Then we need to provide the source where our manifest is available. This is available in Kubernetes K80s 17 deployment uh, repository. We can see here, this is the repository, and if you see here, this path, right? This path we need to mention in the manifest file here. Then our target revision is head, and path we have to mention is the single manifest. We can see this single manifest here. We can see this is single manifest that contain the name just I mentioned, like to just to identify the different ways we can do it. So we can give any names, and this single manifest folder contains the manifest of each of these services. Multiple services are there. Okay, so also in this case we just mention the path. This is single manifest. This one, this path. Okay, and and we need to mention the server where the cluster is there. I mean, in which cluster we are going to deploy it, and in which namespace we are going to deploy these services. Okay, and the sync option we can provide, and here we can, if create namespace is true, that means if namespace is not available, then it will create automatically. Okay. Yeah, so this we, I mean, this Argo CD application we can define as a manifest. If you want to do that through the application, simply you can create here you can provide the name and any project name. Okay, then the sync category you have to mention, the repository path head and the manifest path we have to mention here, and the cluster server name and the namespace where it is going to deploy. Okay, so same thing, just we have mentioned as a manifest file in our repository. Okay, so I just created a Argo CD folder, and under application folder I just created one single manifest file for the Argo CD. Okay, so this way we can do it. And suppose I want to deploy the Helm chart, right? We have a single Helm chart, and that contains all this manifest file of the different services, right? So for that, if you want to deploy, in that case we need to mention same thing we have to do, and the extra thing we have to mention here is the Helm, and we have to provide the values.yaml, from where it will take the information to template, use these values in the template files in our manifests. So this the extra thing we have to do, and the rest is everything is same. Okay, and here the path we have to mention single Helm chart. It is here. We can see this is the single Helm chart path I mentioned. Okay, and the name also I kept like to just to make it easy to understand the flow. So I just gave the same name as the name of the Helm chart as the name of our Argo CD manifest file. Okay, yeah. So this is one way that to deploy the application using Helm chart. Similarly, for multi-environment Helm chart, we can, suppose you are going to deploy the uh, Helm chart for the multiple environment, right? So in that case, right, you can create it here the same way, but the values I just provided here, prod.values.yaml. So you mean we can create different applications. One is for dev application and dev environment. Similarly for test environment and prod environment. So if you are creating for multi-environment Helm chart, then you can provide that values.yaml, respective values.yaml file here. Okay. Similarly, if you are using Kustomize to deploy into multiple environment, that also we can do here, and it is everything will be same. Okay, and here the path what we have to mention is like here this is my folder. Okay, and here um, under this service, right, the microservice, we have a overlays folder, and then under that we have dev, prod and test. So those things we have to mention here. Just I here to demonstrate, I have already created the application for rabbit message queue, but you can use for this for order, for product, for storefront as well. And we can mention here it is dev, test, prod, like this. Okay, so but there will be again multiple applications we are going to create. I mean, this is for Argo CD application that we need to create to deploy the services into the respective environment. Okay. Next, the Helm Customize. Okay. So in this Helm Customize, right? Again, same thing we need to do here. We need to use the path Helm Customize and the overlays, and we have to provide the respective environment where we are going to deploy. Okay. So this way, what happening is, right? We, if you want to deploy into multiple environments, or if our um, um, applications are included as a separate Helm chart or separate containing separate manifest file. So in that case, we need to create multiple applications. Okay, so that is again a bit difficult to do, and manage it. It is very difficult. Okay, so there is another way how we can do is we can all the related services for an application that we can uh, for that we can create a single application as a unit, and that application again point to the respective or the included services Argo CD applications. Okay, for example, if we see here, we can see I have created one folder apps, and under that, in my case, my microservices I'm using here five manifest file. You can see, I mean, five different config file and service files. So you can see here separate 5 again Argo CD application I have created. Okay, under application I have one root application I have created. Okay, this is the root one, and the root application again it is pointing to apps microservices. You can see apps microservices under there multiple Argo CD application again I have created. Okay, so it will come to the apps and microservices, and what it will do is it will do recursive. I mean recursively it will do in this folder how many Argo CD application there. It will execute one by one. Okay, it will take it one by one everything under these microservices. So this is recurse is true. We have to mention here. Okay, and again same thing. We have to mention one namespace here, and other rest is fine here. You can see. And if you go to this microservice, any one of these, for example, order application, again it will point to which repository and the path it will take. Like you, for multi-manifest, right? It will come to this multi-manifest and it will take this manifest files and it will create. Okay. So what it in this scenario, what we have done is basically to combine the related applications or services. And for that, we have created a root Argo CD application. So this is our root Argo CD application. Again, this will point to our microservice Argo CD applications. Okay, so this way you can do it. Similarly, I have done another one is like apps Helm. This is for the basic raw manifest. Suppose you want to deploy the Helm charts also. The similar way we can create a base Argo CD application. The same thing, just we have to define here. It will point to the apps Helm. Here I have created apps Helm, and these are the microservices, and these are basically point to the Helm chart. Okay, so it will go to apps Helm microservices, and it is again recursively deploy all the application that is there in this microservices folder. Okay, and if you go to any of the individual, right, since it's a Helm chart, everything will be same. Again, we have to add this Helm values.yaml file as a parameter here. Okay, so that's all like how we can define the Argo CD application using manifest files. Okay, instead of doing that in the UI interface. Okay, and next thing what we have to do, so we need to run it, right? So in case of UI, right, we simply sync it. It will automatically create that and just point to that repository and provision this application into the cluster. Okay, but when we are going to use the Argo CD applications as manifest file, then those application we have to run using the kubectl command by using the apply. Okay, so that we can do by running these commands. Okay, that we'll see how we can do that. And I have defined some manifest to see. For you can see depending upon this folder name, right, I kept the namespace as same to just to make it easy to understand. Okay, these two basically point to the root manifest. Whenever we're creating we are including multiple applications as a unit. Okay, and we're creating a root Argo CD application. In that case I've just made it two. Okay, yeah, so this I mean I have already created this namespaces. So what we have to follow, like if, in order to do this we have to follow the minikube start that I have done here. If you can see, I have already started the minikube start and it is there. And next step is I have created a namespace for Argo CD because we need to deploy the Argo CD, and that you have to create a namespace with the name of Argo CD, then deploy the Argo CD application into that namespace so it will run as a pod in that namespace. Then in order to access that, you can port forward using this. Then using this URL, you can access to the browser application. Okay, Argo CD browser. You can access the Argo CD by browsing this. Okay. Then after that, we have to log in, and for that we can use admin as the user, and you can use. Okay, so here we have to use the so you have to use this one. Okay, so you have to use this as to get the password up to the to log into the server. Okay, so that I have already got it. You can see here this is my password, and using that I have already logged in. Okay, Okay, so now that is done. Now what we can do, next step is that, as I already discussed, we can deploy it using by creating the Argo CD application using user interface or dashboard, or using the manifest file. So that we have already discussed. And this next we have to create these namespaces. If you see, I'll run, it will say, uh, okay, it is not finding that. So this alias you can run here. If you want to use the alias for kubectl, you can use this one. Then if you run all these things, right, it will say that it exists, okay, because I have already created. Okay, next what we have to do, let's do one by one. Before doing all these things, right, what we have to do is we have to go to setting, and we need to connect to our repository. Okay, so for this we have to select https, and it should be git, and let me project default. And repository path, what we have to take is we have to come and we have to take this one, copy it, and this one we have to copy this one. Okay, and let it all default. Okay, now let's connect it. Now it is successful. So the Argo CD connected to our repository, and this application, it is already, I mean, it is there in the repository. So it will link to the that repository and take this path. Okay, that what we have mentioned in our uh, manifest files. Okay, Argo CD manifest file. Okay, now in order to execute to this single manifest YAML, okay, if you see here, app helms, okay, see this under this, okay, single manifest. Okay, this manifest includes, so this points to the single manifest here, and it includes all these services, and it will try to deploy it. Okay, so let use this. Okay, and try to run it. It is created, it shows. Let's go to our application. Now if we come here, namespace, okay, okay, let's see, it should come here. Okay, so you can see here, okay, we given the name is project, and here also we selected default project, right? That's why it was not taking. If it was default here, then it's not showing here. Okay, but in the manifest file we have mentioned it is the project name of the project is single manifest. Okay, now you can see here, um, single manifest, if we take it is, it shows that single manifest of the project doesn't exist. Okay, because the repository what we have created is default one. Okay, now let me just do one change here, single manifest, and I'll do here project name is default. Now save it and just commit. Let push into the git repository. So there is a different issue with the project name. So what I have done is, I just changed this project name to default, and reconnected to the repository. I mean, I have just reconnect to the repository from the Argo CD. So now I rerun that qctl apply command, and this command again. So now you can see here the application. Now it is created, and if you go to here, right, we can see everything here, like the deployments, the replica sets, the pods. You can see the pods are running here. And if you want to see it from the command line, also we can check it. And here the name of the namespace is single manifest. We have mentioned Okay, so you can see here it shows the single manifest and the pods are running. Okay, similarly, let's do the other one. We can run this. Let use the Helm chart, single Helm chart YAML file. You can see here this one single Helm chart. This one we are going to run now, and using this, so it will be deployed into single Helm chart namespace. Okay, so here if you go to the applications, and you can see here this is for single manifest namespace is selected, and we can use the single Helm chart. You can see this the single Helm chart and the source, and this we can see here it's now processing here. Okay, if you go inside, you can see this also get created. Okay, so this way we can do the can deploy the other one. This one is for customize. Okay, we are using customize manifest YAML. Okay, so here we are going to deploy into one of the service into a particular environment. Okay, so let's go to customize manifest, right? So we are going to deploy into the rabbit message queue into prod environment. Okay, just I'm given taken only one case. Okay, but we can do it for all different services and environments. Okay, so let just run this again. This will be deployed into the customize manifest folder. Okay, now if we come to application and select the namespace, you can see here it got created. Okay, cluster customize manifest, and you can see only for rabbit message queue it got created. Okay, and it is dev environment. Sorry, it should be it is in prod environment. It's I think prod environment, and there should be 3 pod it should create. Okay, we'll see after some time. Okay, next go to the other command. Next we'll use the Helm Customize. Okay, here we use Helm with Customize, and here we are going to use for one particular environment, that is Helm Customize, and here we are deploying also prod environment, and rabbit message queues are going to deploy on, to the prod environment. Okay, let me just run this one, and if we will just go to the application again and select the namespace Helm Customize, we can see one Helm Customize it is getting created here, and this is for rabbit message queue. Okay, and we'll check the pod, it should come 3, and let next step, the stage you have to go is multi-environment Helm chart we are going to create. So this you can run, and the application, if you go and select that multi-environment, you can see here multi-environment chart. Okay, it is in progress. Here multiple pods, because here multi-environment chart you can see multiple pods are getting created. Here if we see it's prod, we are doing this for product environment, and we are using product value. So here we are specifying, because multi-environment, when we are going to use Helm chart for multiple environment, then we have to create multiple values.yaml file. So here we have to pass that specific YAML file for that particular environment. Okay, so this way you can see this created for the prod environment. Okay, so there are 3 replicas here. The next step, let's go to the applications again, and it is shows synced, right? Single management, single Helm chart, multi environment chart, customized manifest. If you go, okay, check how many rabbit message queue pod. Okay, prod. Okay, we'll check this one. Next, what we have to do is let's run this command again, and this is for multiple, because here we have combined all the services to undo defined separate CD applications, and they are combined with the main root application. Okay, so this we can see here, it will come to this, it will run this app of apps. You can see I have just run this app of apps, and this again point to these apps. Okay, now if we come to the application, you can see, okay, let's select that multi app 2, multi multi manifest 2. So we can see here app of apps, right? So if you go, it is pointing to these 5 separate apps, and if you go here, it will show all the definitions and all. But in the application, we can see these are all created here. Okay, you can see manifest 2, manifest 2, right? Whatever manifest 2, right, it under this destination, cluster destination, we can see here all are created. That 5 apps are got created here, separate 5. But remember, we have just run only one application here, I mean the app cd, but it created 5. Okay, similarly we can also run this one. This is nothing, this is for helm chart, using helm chart. Okay, if we run this, sorry. Okay, now if we'll go to the application here again, and we will select that namespace, right? See, okay, it is got created here to multi manifest to multi helm chart 2. You can see multi helm chart 2 multiples are got created. Okay, so here also we have only took use one a root app, and that root app created multiple services. I mean, it used multiple Argo CD application to create the um, services into a X cluster. Sorry, we are not using a X cluster. We are using here one Minikube cluster. Yeah, so this way we can see everything. We can uh, different way we can create our applications. Okay. Okay, so there is some refresh issue. Okay, so this way, yeah, just here we learn how we can use the Argo CD applications by creating through manifest files, and how we can also combine multiple application into a single root Argo CD applications. Okay, so this way we can create. So, and in order to delete this, similar way we can delete those applications, just creating how we have created, right? Same way, if we want, we can delete it. We can do this, and we can check it will delete from our dashboard as well. Okay, now see, I deleted everything here, and if you see, it will be after some time, it will be invisible. It will take some time to, it is doing this, processing this, and then it will delete everything from here. Okay, so yeah, that's all about the how to use Argo CD to deploy applications using by creating the Argo CD applications through the Argo CD interface, and also through the manifest file. Please go through this, and if you have any comments, any suggestion, let me know, and please subscribe to this channel and share it to the others and like it, and we'll discuss some new features, new concept in our future lab. Thank you so much. Till then, bye bye.